So a friend of mine asked about my solar system that I built on my ProMaster van. I can't really properly discuss that without first talking about the rack. The roof of ProMasters have these little T-shaped stubs that stick up off the roof. You can't see it here because it's covered by this connector. This connector clamps down onto it, and then you hook other things to that. You can see I raised my rack just a little bit. I made it out of unistrut. The reason I raised it is because I hung from the bottom of the unistrut these half-height aluminum pieces, and that's what the solar panels actually sit on top of. Here you can see the unistrut and the solar panels sitting on top of those half-height ones, so that really the solar panels aren't visible from the ground at all. They're completely within the height of the unistrut. So in my case, what I did is I knew I wanted a DC air conditioner. So I went inside the van, figured out where I could make the hole to put the air conditioner in, and got the air conditioner so I could measure which part of the roof it's going to use. And then I made a spreadsheet and just started putting in different sizes, wattages of solar panels so I could find the maximum amount of wattage I could get at a reasonable price to make most efficient use of the space up here on the roof. And you can see I did a pretty good job. It's fairly well covered. I've got one space back there on the driver's side. That's for a potential max air type fan in case I decide I need additional ventilation. The power cables from the solar goes through that wire loom and enters the van through the same hole as the air conditioner, so I can't really see it. So inside the van, there's the cabling from the solar and a few extra power cables in case I want to have cameras or motors or lights or something on the roof. It goes over the cabinets, inside the walls. Walls aren't covered yet, down through below the bed. So then those cables came out. They go to the solar charge controllers. I've got two banks, two panels on each of these. And from there, they go through a switch and to the battery system. So of course the battery's the heart of it. I've got three 300 amp hour batteries, lithium iron. So that should give me enough for all my needs. Hopefully it will. I've got this open right now. There's a cover to go over this that just exposes the switches and labels what these switches are for. Here is how I get shore power, or power that you plug in from an external source. This will charge the batteries. Cable for this actually goes through a nice little hole. You go down in the corner, and if you pull off the bumper, you can get it to come to a spot on the outside of the van. Here's where I put it. If it's plugged in, I can still open, close the door, swing it all the way open. It won't interfere with that connection. Additionally, I've got a DC to DC battery charger. Of course, it's switched as well. And those cables, the input cables, go through the wall up to the passenger side B pillar. Passenger B pillar is this one just behind the passenger seat. It's fairly easy to take off, but down inside here is a power takeoff that supports 70 amps. So I just bought connectors and plugged into that, ran the cable up inside the B pillar, around this bend, which was a pain in the ass, and through this tray until it came down over there. I also ran a control wire through the ceiling over to here So I have this switch so I can turn on or off the power from the engine as desired. There's a fuse panel just behind this panel right there, I believe. And so I just found a fuse that's only on when the engine is running. So two requirements are needed in order for the batteries to charge from the engine. That is that the engine be running, not just the first turn on the key, but all the way running. And I have to manually turn it on here. This little light on top of it lights up when it's running. This way I don't have to be charging the batteries if they're already full and wasting engine. And finally, I've got a power inverter from my old van. It's 1500 watt, 3000 max. That pulls off the batteries here. And then on the other side has 120 AC outputs. And I just run cords to where I actually need it, like the fridge or places like that. So then this little device is, I don't know what to call it. I'll call it power takeoff, even though it's not taking power. But it's in the loop so that it can send data out to a control over the sliding door. Here's where that comes into. Here you can see I'm at the side door. So this can tell me the state of the battery. It claims it's 100%. You can see some input there. That's from the solar because nothing else is hooked up. But if I turn on a power draw, it'll show a negative wattage and negative amperage. The 13.3 is the current state of the battery. I think 13.6 is actually full under no load for this type of battery, lithium-ion batteries. You can see this solar bank claims it's providing 2 watts. That's at 38 volts, or actually 13.7 volts, 38 input at 0.7 amps. And this one, something's wrong with the output. I can't see the amperage. I'll have to figure that out. But even though you saw the van is in the shade, it's still getting a small amount of power. In case, actually it's about 50 watts of power. And here's how I turn on or off the power inverter. In case I want to turn it off or I need to reset it, I can do it right here. I've run a few temporary lighting circuits. I've got one over the sink, one over the door, one in the Earthsat's bathroom, and one over the bed. But that's just for usage during this interim period before I put in the final lighting and switches.